Ooh, welcome back, everybody. How are we doing? Hey, how's it going? This is Pyrotechnics doing my chair adjustment as soon as I see myself, as is the usual. How's my mic? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm kind of out of it today. Actually, I yeah, I have facial hair. This is not this is not by design. This is a direct result of being too lazy to shave during the weekend and then realizing on Monday, "Oh shit, I don't have time after I get up. I got to get to work. When am I going to shave?" Oh my god. So here it is. Yeah, I've been all over the place today. I did not have time to shave. I didn't even eat dinner. I'm just rocking a protein shake. Dude, it's been a busy day. I made this by like 2 minutes. I literally like just took a shower, like the exactly the fifth fastest shower that I've ever had in my life. And if you can say that like 5 times really fast, you should win some kind of medal for speech. But hey, I'm gonna get into some casted games as is per usual on StarCasts, and yeah, hey, we made it back by the way. Weeknights, so Monday through Thursday. I was gonna do Friday, and then Fridays are hard, so I didn't. But Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific, all that good stuff. Yes, doing it, sticking to the schedule. I love it. But anyways, I had to reach really far back in some of these casted games. By the way, um, because there's actually not a lot of new ones that are available. There've been a lot of new casters, so that's awesome. Now, I mean, I could do one that's already been casted, but I don't know. It seems like it's not that nice to do unless somebody's like, I want another cast. Nobody's asked for one, so I'm gonna get some old ones. This one is gonna be by somebody I've casted some games of before, iMatt. I don't actually recall the exact Platinum. It is Platinum League. Okay, so we're gonna do Platinum game and then a Diamond game today. One of them is by iMatt, another one is by a guy I don't know, and we'll see. But I should probably get into the game. So let's get into it. And boom! Here we go. This is against Barcode and iMatt. The map is Belshir Vestige, which is awesome to say because there are literally a million ways to say it. Let's get into the game. And I'm going to have some protein shake. Mmm. Delicious. Very delicious. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. My graphics are too high. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Oh, my God. I'm so embarrassed by this. My computer cannot handle this. Okay, we're going down. Okay. Alright, good. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Belshir Vestige, we have Barcode, the Red Zerg. And it looks like iMatt had played random. So, speaking of which, iMatt spawning in the top left corner, and I already said his name, but I'll say it one more time because he is awesome. It is WM iMatt playing the blue toss. So, PVZ on some Belshir Vestige. Little Overlord Scout going out very, very early. Very nice and slow, deliberately marching. Not really marching, floating. He's floating very slowly. Let's take a look at what both players are building. I'm bored of watching that Overlord already. We have nothing in production except a very, well, not an early pylon. That's not early. God, I'm such a scrub. iMatt is building his first pylon at 10 supply, waiting to max out on workers before he does it, so it may be that he's going for some early aggression. He wants to get up some early minerals there. We see that Mr. Barcode, our anonymous Zerg, is going for nothing but drones at the moment. He, in fact, has 13 supply, so this is not atypical for Zerg by any means. A lot of Zergs like to opt for the safe macro opening so they can fast expand down here at about 2.5 minutes. Sometimes they'll go hatch first. Sometimes we'll see a pool. It really depends on what they scout, if they can scout it in time, and if they don't, it's usually just sort of a toss-up, heads or tails. What are they going to do? So a gateway going down at about 2 minutes for iMatt. It's almost halfway done now, and he's also getting a first gas protest, of course, relying on gas very, very early, as most of their units are fairly gas heavy, except for, of course, the Zealot. So it'll be interesting to see if iMatt decides to fully fill out this one. He actually does fill out his gas entirely right at the beginning, so we're probably going to see Maybe Fast Blink Stalkers. It depends on how many gateways he ends up building. He might be going for an Immortal all-in. Right now, he's got just one gateway who's out, and it's warping right here. So he's going to try to forge Fast Expand based on what he's going to be putting his units at right there. Well, maybe not entirely, because normally you want to put your, forge first there. But this is sort of an interesting build, one I haven't seen from Protoss in a little while. He's getting Cybercore, so this might even be a 4-gate. Which is, maybe this is just at my league, but I have not seen a lot of 4-gates when I play ZVPs. But we have Barcode right now putting down an expansion. Very, very quick, of course. Yes, he did, I believe, put it down before he put his spawning pool because, yes, this hatchery is almost all the way up. So he went for a hatch first, and it looks like it might be paying off, unless, of course, the Zealot has other ideas and decides to go down and have a little party with that hatch. Oh, and I'm getting some serious lag. My goodness, and my graphics are low and everything. This is not good. The Zerg has got 3 of his drones in gas, and he is mining the hell out of it as he continues to be building a lot more of them. 2 queens up, 1 on each hatchery right now, so he's going straight on macro. We will see what happens. The Protoss player is taking another gas. Meanwhile, he builds a mothership core for that oh-so-crucial defense that the Protoss are so fond of building, but he's not actually chrono boosting his cyber core. So right now, looks like he's saving his charge. No, he's not quite saving his charges, but he's been spending it on some other things, it looks like. Not chrono boosting on a couple of Zealots, I think, and maybe a mothership core. I actually completely missed it. And take a look at this. Our Zerg player is getting Ling speed and producing a couple of Lings to hopefully do some kind of harassment, I would suppose. This Ling speed is going to take some time to get finished up, but we will see what he manages to do. Only 2 of them out, actually. So this isn't going to be a fully committed force, and of course, he has no idea that these 3 Zealots and this mothership core here. So this is going to get cleaned up very nice and easy. Of course, the Zealots and core are moving out just a little bit to guard this hopefully soon-to-be expansion, and meanwhile, there is also a sentry in production. And yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and see what goes on. A Stargate being opened up and warped in right now for iMatt. So is he going to go for some Void Rays or Phoenix Harass or something very interesting like that? It'll be cool to tell, man. Meanwhile, back at the Zerg's base, he is prepping for an eventual assault. He is building 2 spine crawlers to hopefully defend his base. That might come in very handy if these Zealots and this Mothership Core decide to come to the party. And of course, Link Speed is almost done. A Roach Warren is also almost completed. And the Zerg is sitting on 2 bases right now, but I think he suspects an attack, and he knows something is coming for him. He's building a lot more spine crawlers right now. He has still hardly any units. A couple of Lings. Where are they, man? They're just sitting on these towers, but they have seen this attack coming. And the Protoss is smart enough not to rush right on in, because even though he'd be doing pretty well with only these 2 spines up right now, these other 2 are not far behind. And of course, with all the Lings here and this Queen, this is more than an adequate defense. 1 spine crawler does get canceled. Interesting. Maybe Barcode didn't think he needed it, but 1 Roach finally complete, and about half a dozen Lings here. A ton more just finished up, and the Queen just says, I don't think this is a good idea for you to be doing. And of course, the Lings are going to rush right on out to try and surround the the Zealots, and they decide to run away while they had the surround instead of lose all of their lives. I don't think anything was really lost in that engagement. A couple of resources lost for a Zerg player, maybe 1 or 2 Lings. That'll happen. But let's take a look. We do, in fact, see Phoenixes being chrono boosted out, so this is looking to be some kind of Phoenix Harass, possibly into Void Rays or into something like that, but only 1 Warp Kit out on the field right now, so the ground units are going to be very, very thin for a Protoss player who is also just starting to get his 2nd expansion up and wall off. He does have, I'm so sorry, 2 more gateways. I'm an idiot. I don't watch the mini-map, and I'm missing an engagement right now. How bad am I at this? Oh my goodness, his Mothership Core is cleaning up all of those Lings, and most of those Zealots got away with only some scratches and bruises. 1 is actually that Zealot is a hero Zealot, and he should probably get honorably discharged from the Protoss army. But looks like iMatt still has further uses for him. Meanwhile, that Mothership Core goes into Scout, but of course, Queens beat Mothership Cores in a straight-up one-on-one. So it has to go on home. 2 Evo Chambers going down right now, and it looks like the Zerg player is transitioning nicely into a Roach Ling composition, but he's not taking another base. And at 9 minutes, when he is tied with his Protoss opponent for a number of bases, this is not the position you want to be in as a Zerg. And I think he knows this. I think he has seen that there is no base here, so unless there's a Ninja expansion here and here, which of course we know there is not, we're going to go ahead and take a look at just his range of vision. Yeah. Oh, wrong player. My bad. There we go. And he does, of course, not see this. He does see that there was nothing there. There may be something there now, but, of course, these Lings on this run-by are going to do quite a lot of damage, and there is not a lot back at home to stop them. Of course, a couple of... My goodness, a few quick warp-ins of these Zealots going down, and these Lings will get cleaned up nicely, but not before they've done some serious damage and taken out a few of these probes. The probe units lost. Oh, my goodness. That's not the tab that I wanted, is it? I need to learn these hotkeys. I really do need to learn these hotkeys. Ugh. There we go, that's what I was talking about. 7 workers killed. The Zerg player, yeah. Well, he lost a lot. I mean, not the Zerg player. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? That queen gets completely annihilated down. This is, I'm so sorry. This is 7 workers killed for a Protoss player. But he is on the offensive now, taking out those queens and sniping them down. At one Spore Crawler, not enough to take out those Phoenixes. They're going to go on home, and no more larva injects will be had. I'm going to go back to everyone's view. We see 1-and-1 upgrades from 1-and-1 melee and, of course, 1 air attacks, ranged attacks. Pardon me. My vocabulary does not seem to be with me. And Hydra speed is going down. But these Phoenixes, man, they're rough. So we now see a Ling, Roach, and Hydra army. Pretty typical, standard affair for Zerg. Another queen has been produced, of course, and we see one more coming out. But again, the Zerg is only on 2 bases. This isn't good, man. It doesn't really matter how small the Protoss force is compared to the Zerg force. Not with this ridiculous wall-off and the production that he's getting right now. The income tab is just about even, and the Zerg player really needs to be ahead because his units are so much more disposable. He's not really spreading creep super effectively right now. Of course, he has lost some queens, and he's massing up this force, but right now, he needs to be taking another base, and yes, he finally does. A 3rd expansion goes down at the 12-minute mark. A little bit late, if you ask me. I don't know, man. We'll take a look. Void Rays are now in production, as well as a Dark Shrine. The Chrono Boosts continue on this Stargate, and this may not be the best choice. iMatt doesn't know that there are Hydras. At least I'm pretty sure he doesn't know that there are Hydras, but of course, this Dark Shrine is going to be a real problem for the Zerg player if he doesn't get detection out, and he does not have an Overseer with his main army. But right now, the Phoenixes continue their assault on the Hive cluster. They're able to snipe down a few Overlords before they get away completely unhurt. But here comes the giant army to engage at the front base of iMatt. Is it going to get cleaned up? Are these Zealots going to drop like flies? Are the Lings going to drop like flies? Absolutely they will. But there is just too many of these units, and these air-ranged Hydras are not focusing down. Oh my god, iMatt gets a good few shots off before he loses all of his units, and that Stalker is surviving very well, actually, and those Phoenixes come in to do a fair amount of damage to the rest of those ground forces, and they will clean that up. They will fire them all down. A little bit of mismicroing, I think. A few of those Hydras could have much better focus fire some of the air units, but it looks like we are already starting to see some reproduction of these Zerg units who are now... let's see. They're coming back. We got a few Hydras. We got a Queen. All right. This is a little bit of a slow assault. A little bit of a slow rebuilding. But remember, our Zerg player's only been on 2 bases most of this game. In fact, he's only just starting. He's not even mining at this base right now. He has sort of forgotten a fair amount of his macro. And to be fair, his whole army got wiped out. I mean, yeah, he did take out a lot of iMatt's units, but he really didn't do any harm. He didn't do any economic damage, and the losses he took were so much greater. He was actually like up, I think, by a couple hundred resources. I hadn't really checked that to be sure, but now he's down by about 1,500. So that's not really good, and his army supply is a lot smaller. Sorry, his army supply is bigger, but his worker supply is smaller, and now we see our Zerg player, iMatt, he's taking a 3rd base right now, and this is a good time for a Protoss to be taking a 3rd base. He's expanding about roughly every 5 minutes. These Phoenixes are doing a fair amount of economic damage, and they are going to snipe down this Queen if they in fact see her. But this army of Hydras is moving out. They're going to get away really quick. They might even take out this Queen before they themselves get taken out. Oh my goodness, and it looks like none of them will actually die. These Hydras just not quite fast enough to best. Oh my goodness, and then Overlord goes down too. Supply blocking our Zerg player. This is getting to be a real headache. This Phoenix Strike Force is doing a lot of damage. Barcode really could have maybe a couple more spines right now, and that would fend this off really well. But he's focusing on building up an army that he really can't afford right now. But what is this? He's going to Nidus Swarm right into iMatt's base. This will be interesting. Oh my goodness, all these workers are going to get taken out. Nothing is going to get there in time. But a couple of stalkers do warp in, and there goes down the Nidus Worm. Oh, I should never have doubted iMatt. He was point spot on right there. How good was that? How good was that? And of course, this Nidus Worm now has to discharge, the Nidus Network, I'm sorry, has to discharge all of those workers one at a time, and a lot of Overlords were getting sniped in the meantime. Now we see some Archons warping in. Okay, so the a couple of Dark Templar are there, but right now, they're not even, I don't think iMatt's not even thinking they're going to be that particularly useful. He's going to get to level 3 ground attack. Oh my goodness, the upgrades. I have not been following at all. We see 2 and 2 attacks from melee and ground, but no Carapace right now. And of course, we see ground level 2 done as well. And of course, charge so the Zealots can meat shield, but we see 3 almost finished. A Spire going down, so hopefully our Zerg player is going to try a tech switch. He realizes he's not going to be able to do a whole lot on the ground, especially with a 3-basing Protoss who just has 9 gateways. And that one Stargate that's just been chrono boosted so many times. Oh my goodness, he gets one Carapace finally, and I'm missing this. Oh my goodness, I'm missing this entire engagement. The Hydras and the Lings are dropping like flies, and looks like without any detection, these 5 Dark Templar do a lot of damage. Even though the entire rest of the army got killed, they're going to be able to trade so effectively, even if an Overseer gets out there. The Hydras are going to have to go right on back home because they're, of course, going to lose everything, and we see a 4th base being taken for the Protoss. So Protoss is actually now ahead of Zerg in mining. His income is just going to keep going up from here. He's actually already up a little bit more over the Zerg, who has never mined this 3rd base at all. He is about optimal on his 2, but he's getting mined out on his main base. He should really be transferring these drones natural. He has neglected a lot of his micro this game, and I think, frankly, he's going to pay for it. Especially right now, these I need to shut up and think about what I say before I say it. These are not Zerglings. These are Zealots. StarCraft 101, everybody. And, yeah, the Zealots take out the 3rd base that never was really mining anyways. Another Zerg attack, and this one's starting to feel like an all-in. Oh, distance mining. Distance mining. There is so much gas being taken, and those Hydralisks just say, I'm going to kill all of you. But they're focusing the buildings, and the Mothership Core is finally going down, but I don't think these Hydras are going to really be able to do a whole lot before they end up getting taken out of this engagement. Oh, what is being warped in? An Archon right now for a Protoss player. He doesn't have a lot of units, but look, the detection's over here. I think this Dark Templar, well, yeah, there we go. Now he gets fired down. Well, let's see. This game is turning into all kinds of silly right now because the Zerg player is continuing to all-in. Barcode is all-inning with a lot of his units. He's back down to 2 bases. His 1st base is completely mined out, so he's not going to be able to sustain this pace. Meanwhile, iMatt, he might be losing a lot of these engagements, but he is just hardcore macroing and keeping the faith with his build order. He knows that he can continue to save this base. I don't know why these probes keep long-distance mining. This is crazy. But a couple of Warpins do come in, and a lot more Stalkers. They are a little bit far behind. They never did get Blink, so they're not going to be able to outrange these Hydras, who are, in fact, mega upgraded. But the Zerg is going to, of course, continue. Oh my goodness, that Nexus got taken down, and I never said it! Oh, I'm so bad at telling things. And this is just a conga line right now of probes. Look at them dancing. But this tiny little fort, oh my goodness, the probes are also attacking the Hydras, and they're focusing them down where the sentries take out the rest of the army, and the Zerg player can continue to make these all-in types of run-bys. But right now, with the macro that our Protoss player is working with and the income that he's got, he is just, well, he's low right now, but he still has technically 4 bases, even if he only has 3 Nexi. Nexi, yeah, Nexi is the word I'm looking for. Yes, this is an interesting little dance going on right here at iMatt's bases, that is. A Zergling army with 1 Overseer comes on in to try and end this base once and for all. But of course, these sentries are not going to do anything, and these Zealots might be able to do a fair amount of damage before they are inevitably taken out. The Zerg is just continuing to go on. He does actually manage to get his 3rd base mining right now with a lot of his drones that he had earlier. This tech switch really never did him a whole lot of good. He's not building much. He's continuing to build Hydras and Lings. and it's almost as if he thinks he's not going to be able to get a whole lot out in time, and he has to end this game, I'd say quickly, but it's 23 minutes in. The base does go down, but remember, our Protoss player is still on 3 bases. Even if he can't produce as much, he really needs to be rebuilding this Nexus to be able to get things up and running again, but right now he's going to focus on warping in a lot more of these chargelets because they're going to do a lot of damage, and that Mothership Core better get out of there unless it's going to get fired down by those Hydras. It is actually just going for a full-on distraction. Oh my goodness, it's buying time. It's buying time so iMatt can warp in more units and deal with this. Oh, that was... I don't know if that was the smartest move I've ever seen, but it was clever. I have to admit. Right now, the Zerglings are going in for the kill. This base is completely undefended and is one of the few untouched ones. A Mothership Core being built, but is not going to get out in time. The DTs come in, and they're going to do a lot of damage before those Overseers manage to get there. They are a lot slower. They are going to be taken out, but more units are being warped in right now to fend off yet another Zerg all in. Oh, this is actually a very tense game right now. It is macro versus micro, completely one way or another. The Mothership Core does get up in time, cleans up this Zerg all in. But right now, what's the army at? My goodness, it's so close, and the worker supply is so close. This has really been an intense game. That is a very hero Dark Templar, 17 kills, doing a lot of damage to that hatchery. And an Overseer better get there quick, or that hatch is going down. Actually, they're not even bothering. They're going straight for the kill, man. Long distance mining once again, but this force is at the front and ready to take out anything that comes its way. This Dark Templar might actually get here in time. Oh, he's not going to. He gets taken out, 36 health left on the hatch. But it was a valiant effort. So, Intaro Tassadar to you, my good Templar. I think that's what Protoss say to one another. So right now, both players are actually in a bit of a desperation mode. Production being amped up on nothing but cannons. iMatt is protecting the last of his holdings. He has quite a few of these relatively, really unprotected warp gates and stuff. So right now, our Zerg player is going to take his advantage to take out what is left of those. Meanwhile, both players are on very limited mining power. I am betting iMatt right now wishes this was a command center. He could lift it and put it right in there. The Zerglings are doing another run-by. They're going straight into the main and hoping to kill as much as they possibly can. Oh no, the Mothership Core is the only thing that's going in this front is being defended. The Zerg player is actually starting to take an advantage right now, and he looked like he was completely out of this game. My goodness, this is getting very, very intense and close, and oh my goodness, those are just too many lings, but a planetary nexus is going to do a lot of work to those lings. And there is nothing else for the army of the Zerg player, even though he is now back to macroing. So those lings do decide to try and take out that Artosis pylon. Are they going to get to it in time? I think they will not do it because that cannon is all about that. Artosis pylon has been entirely saved, and those warp gates will live to warp another day. But now there is a giant sentry force. Oh my goodness, being built up for iMatt, who is defending, very vigorously defending this base. He really needs to take another one or rebuild one of his others. Right now the Zerg player has not a lot of anything out on the field. He is starting to get another base, but he's not mining super effectively out of that one, or at all really. This one is very heavily saturated, and he's also mined out completely, leaving a couple of drones on an expired extractor. Oh my goodness, he needs to get his economy back up if he wants to get back in this game. Some of his buildings he has hardly used all game. Not for lack of trying with that Nidus, though. Oh, and we have some Archons pushing out to this expo of Barcode. He is going to lose it. He has no army. He has half a dozen Lings and half a dozen Hydras. So the Zerg player prepares to completely wall himself off with spines, but it's not going to get there in time. These chargelets, these DTs... Well, the DTs might get taken down, but those couple of Archons are going to have something to say about that. The Mothership Core is going to be super effective as well. Spines might actually finish. My goodness! This could be a big, epic battle unfolding right here. And, oh, some serious force fields. Man, these engagements are just so touch and go. They're so one-off. It's very intense. I don't think I've ever seen engagements this small that are this intense. My graphics card is really happy about this game. There's just such a low army count for just about everything. And that DT is just, it's just doing all the damage. Oh, snap. Here comes the giant Protoss army relative to this game standards, of course. They are marching straight into the main, and it looks like we're going to have a base race, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to win this game? My money is going to be on iMatt because he has the much larger and much deadlier force, and those 3 cannons are going to help quite a lot, too. But, yeah, well, you look at that. Not entirely microing the best, but... yeah, it looks like iMatt is doing much better in this engagement right now, and the Zerg is going to come in and try and finish this once and for all, but there is not enough out on this field, and a couple of Zealots is all it takes to warp in. This is the last of the Zerg's army. He's going to have to GG out of this game. Oh my goodness. He's not giving up without a fight, but what does he have left to fight with? A couple of Overseers? I mean, this base is relatively well defended, but there's nothing else Zerg can do at this point. This has been a really tense game. I just want to say. Like, surprisingly, I mean, there was a lot of mistakes made by a lot of players. Seriously. A lot of mistakes. But, you know, there were some epic battles, man. I had a lot of fun watching it. It was pretty good. Barcode is saying he did not do well at all. He is beating himself up, and you never want to do that. iMatt's lolling about it, being a good sport. He's not talking shit. Oh, well, Barcode's talking shit. Oh, well. What are you going to do? iMatt, you're in the win. Congrats. I'm sorry that your opponent was not quite so sporting about it. But yeah, it's alright. You did a good job. You macroed up a lot better. I mean, if I could offer you 1 or 2 pieces of advice, is I know it was really difficult. You got to get these Nexus back up, man. Nexi. Teach me the plural of Nexus, and I'll be really happy about that. Please do. All right, well, the Zerg, I mean, he's not GGing. He probably AFK'd and rage quit. Oh my god, Protoss so imba. Ugh. But there it is. Lucky win. I think it was honestly a better game. A better game for iMatt. A better game all around. But hey, it was well played. You know, I had a good time watching it. It was alright. Enjoyed it. That's what we're here for. We're here for fun. Casting games and playing stuff. And God, that is separated into its base components, but that is still a delicious protein shake. I'm going to enjoy it some more. Making myself protein powder, man. You buy any stuff you want in the store, but it's so delicious with some fruit, frozen fruit in there, you know. All right, so we're gonna get into game number 2. This is the point where I separate these games into highlights. Excuse me, and I put them in different. Boxes and put them up on YouTube as different games. But it's part 1, part 2. So I'm gonna do part 2. Yeah, because we have half an hour. That was a pretty long game by standards. I'm going to be casting another one by Dipwood, another player that I have actually casted a few games from before. This is an old one. I'm reaching back a little bit as well. It's about 4 days old, but it's got to be a good one, I'm sure. It's a PvP. So I'm going to go to a very quick break, and when I come back, we will be casting a game with our favorite Protoss from our cast at Dipwood. Okay. Everybody, enjoy the overlay. It's not an overlay, I just keep calling it that. Someone tell me what it's called.